So it got cut off. So let's just inform you guys on some of the stuff that is happening out there. So this is Josiah and each one teach one, as you guys well know it. What we do, we bridge the gap between the mentors and the mentees in the continent by encouraging, supporting, educating, creating the awareness of the various talents that's out in the continent. We also give gainful employment to the youths and women in the continent. Today, I know I'm not going to talk a lot about technology, but they all hinges to every other thing that we do in a political space. And I'm not a politician, and I'm not here to talk about politics, but I'm here to expose some information that will kind of pique your interest and hopefully get you thinking in a critical way. So the whole idea here of what I'm doing is to promote self-reliance and being able to look out for oneself and not depending on others for what we want to do or what you want to do. So I'm looking at the situation in Zambia to be specific. And to me, Zambia is Chinese territory or Chinese colony. So there's what they call Empire 2.0. The British are interested in Africa. So are the Chinese, so are the Russians, so are every other person. Even some other countries that we know, we're not going to mention, but they do it by proxy. Everybody is interested in the treasure trove of Africa. The reason being that Africa holds is the basket, bread basket of the world when it comes to resources and everything that you need to make life um, go on. So it's come to the attention that as sad as it is, Kwame Nkrumah talked about the faults of the imperialism 1.0. He was able to see the fact that although they were getting independence, there's been a lot of atrocities done. And from the time the Portuguese came to Africa, 14 something, 1427, or thereabout, but record shows that the Chinese were there around 1413, maybe 10 years before the Portuguese got there. So moving forward, from that time to when Haiti got their independence in 18 something, you will see that it's about 150 years. And that's a blow to imperialism and colonization on a worldwide level. So, with that being said, we saw the growth of China, okay, from the 18 something when Haiti got independence, the African nations started bathing in nationalities, which they started getting their independence in 1950s. That's about actually from the 14th to 18th century when Haiti got their independence. Haiti got their independence to when the African nations started bathing in nationality, in the corruption of nationality. That's what I call it. Flagship, flagship nationality, where colonization still got them, okay, using their gatekeepers. So from that 18 something down to when they started getting their independence in 150 years. And now from that, the independence till now is about 50 something years. And we saw the change that happened with the Chinese from the 70s to about the early, like from the 70s down to this time. It's about 30 years. They made that difference and made a lot of changes in short, a very short period of time. And one of the contributions is the fact that the height of the power that is growing, and when the power grows, it diminishes. So what happens now is there's gonna be a new kid on the block. So they say the sun sets for another, and it's the sunrise for the other. So that's what we're seeing happening, and the price for everything is Africa. Okay, so whoever rules Africa will rule again, as it's already been proven. Whoever against Africa will rule again. And we know that to be true because it used to be whoever rules Jerusalem will rule again. We rule the world, sorry. So that's what's going on. So for Africa is who is going to take over Africa again. So the Chinese had an agenda, 100-year agenda. In that agenda, Africa is a priority. They have to control the resources of the world. To do that, you have to grab Africa. Okay, that's what's going on. So that's why I keep telling the African leaders to wake up from their slumber and recognize that there's no need to live with the Chinese in the land that the Chinese have their eyes set on already. It's not necessary. Keep them at a distance. So Nkrumah analyzed the whole situation in the 50s, and he wrote the book. In that book, he outlined the new ways the colonial masters are going to come in. They're going to use multinational corporations to hold down the countries, and dividing the countries into different nations made it easy for them. So they can run to Ghana if the deal is not favorable in Kenya. They can run to South Africa if the deal is not favorable in Morocco or Tunisia or whatever, and so on and so forth. But Nkrumah had enlightened the people at the time and to come together. Okay, they had the Morovia group and the Casablanca group. So this Casablanca group wanted to do the right thing. Morovia didn't want to do the right thing. So Africa remained in disunity, and that's why African leaders decided to sell their citizens for money, for their own prosperity, in a land that's not theirs. They forget to raise their land and make their land what it's supposed to be. Instead, they want to do stuff in a land that is not theirs. That's stupidity. So the Africans themselves know they have issues, but the people that are ruling them don't care much. So what they really want to do is to do what they want. Sorry about that. I was trying to get somebody in, and I got myself in again. So that's what it was. So that's what it was. So they're trying to pretty much raise their own land, RAZE, and then take whatever profit or benefit they are gaining from those people that are manipulating matters and making people's life miserable in Africa. And they want to, stash that whatever they are getting, whatever money they are getting over there. But look at the ironic part of it. So they take their resources, gold, diamond, or whatever, and they give to another for paper, colored paper. And at this time, COVID have proven that it's just colored paper is being printed in a very large quantity. Now you take your resources, give it away, give your land away with the hope of running to paradise or heaven or somewhere that is better than where you came from, right? Well, I got a story. I got something to tell you. Where you're trying to run to is not what it seems to be. There are problems there also. Okay, the economy there are not built might want to think of it. It has its own problems. The money you're trying to stash away from your people, you will find it's not going to be a solution. Your solution will make it habitable for yourself and the people around you. Or by so doing, you can have some kind of peace eternally within yourself. Because when you're selling your people for money, what conscience do you have? Okay. How do you think you can get away with that? These are the questions that I'm asking you. How do you think you can get away with what you're doing? How can you get away with this? You know, what you're doing is so wrong. You should stop doing it. There is no need to do what you're doing. Okay? Now, moving forward, today, African leaders are still sleeping while the Chinese had grown from being poor right around the same time we gained independence. Some of the Southeast countries get independent at that time, like Malaysia, Singapore, and the rest of them. Today, these are countries that have excesses, countries to live in. These are countries that have become rich and have gotten benefited from the fast-growing digital era or economy of the times. They have invested in technology and have pushed their people into technology, and they are doing great. African leaders are neglecting one simple thing: intelligence. Intelligence in everything, because live in a world that you don't need to have yourself completely exposed like a lamb in the forest or like a lamb in the field. All these entities that I have mentioned have continued to spy on the African continent from the onset. The corruption there by design, and Africans were deliberately gouged into accepting what was given to them. They neglected who they are, the principles that they had, and today I think it's important for them to return to who they were. Money is not everything. Greed cannot get you anywhere but into the situation that you find yourself in this situation. Bribery and so on and so forth haven't solved any problem in Africa. It creates more problem. That's why the Chinese are over there running things. The Arabs are there running things. The Indians, because you allow this virus called corruption to be prevalent and infested the whole area, and is hurting your young, is hurting your youths. Okay, so the citizens that are unprotected, these are a very great collection, a catalog of data. They are catalog of data through what they're doing on the internet and social media. They biographically, someone can elucidate information about them, and they can use that to channel and bolster strategies that will bring benefit to whoever does that. So these are some of the areas that are not being looked into. The wave of people moving in and out of Africa is not even controlled, and the wave of people getting into the internet in African continent is not either clearly observable, and the controls are not there with exposure and lack of data classification and everything. So that's why I mentioned intelligence. It's important for Africa to recognize the need to do things in an intelligent manner, realizing that you're not the only one in the world. Therefore, what you have to do, you have to make it private for yourself. Because I'll give you an example. If you're in your home with your family, there's some things that you do in your family that you keep it within family. What happens in the family stays in the family, isn't it? That's how it goes. But Africa, when it comes to the new era that we're in, the digital era, we don't have such a thing, and that complete exposure is a downfall of the new of Africa moving forward. That is why everybody would take advantage of Africa and get ahead, and Africa will be left there in the dust to rot. Africa and Chinese relationship will never turn out good. Chinese were able to turn the greed of the West against the West in a legal way, so to speak. Now, at least, the story is not completely obvious. The story is not completely in the open. I know there are some disclosures, but however, there's still a lot of closures. So they took technology from the West to better themselves. As you can see, they have become nuisance in some people, notable people's agenda. So Africa will have to learn how to become a nuisance to whoever begrudges them or wants to stamp them out or supplant them or take their lands and resources. It is the duty of the African youth and the women to work a way out, finding a solution that works for them, following the technology of the day, and aligning themselves with certain organization, certain order in the community or society to be able to achieve anything meaningful. The Chinese recognized that earlier. They knew there had to be some kind of order to build anything. They established an order. So it is also an encouragement given as a suggestion that an order, kind of order, had to be established if Africa must grow. So the solutions that are out there should be engaging the youths and women in technology. You copy the Rwanda model. They don't build things that they cannot build by themselves, especially in Tanzania. Magufuli makes sure that his engineers are a part of the constructions that are going on in that land. You can take a look and see for yourself. You cannot rely on a loan, not expect to sell your soul and conscience. That is why you see what's happening in Zambia happening. Police, Chinese people shutting up Zambians and getting away with it. Zambia is a colony of China. So now, the last but not the least is African countries should consider immediately restructuring their constitutions, thereby giving citizenship absolutely citizenship to African descents that were born in foreign countries. That's one of the ways to curb what is about to happen to Africa. That's all I have to say to you guys. If you have ears, listen. If you don't have ears, still listen. If you don't have ears, you better get ears and listen to what I had to say. And that's just about it for today. This is Josiah. As you all know, on each one, teach one, we do whatever is revealed to us, we come out here to give it to you. I'm just here to stir the water, and that's just about it. Josiah on each one, teach one. I'm signing off now. Y'all take care. Oh, before I go, have you subscribed yet? If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have subscribed already, share and share and share. Click on the notification button so that whenever I do the videos, you'll be able to get them. Take care now. Bye. We are done.